2. Hi guy, welcome back. TV spoilers reveal that Daniel's anger could push Phyllis into a stalemate. Phyllis returns to Genoa City and confronts Daniel at Crimson Lights in a heated argument. Daniel, unable to tolerate his mother's manipulation and destructive actions any longer, publicly declares that he will leave her, severing all personal and professional ties to protect himself and his family from the chaos she has caused. Phyllis's return to Genoa City is not that of a mother seeking reconciliation, but rather like a storm returning to its original destructive location. Her presence at Crimson Lights from the start carries a heavy weight, as if the air in the bar is stretched taut by unspoken words and things that are too late to salvage. For Daniel, that confrontation is no longer a familiar mother-son argument, nor a recurring cycle of reproach, forgiveness, and repetition. This time, his anger didn't erupt uncontrollably, but rather cooled to a dangerous degree. It was the state of someone who had experienced too much disappointment, too many times been drawn into the schemes, manipulations, and impulses of others, only to finally realize that if he didn't break free, his own life would continue to be crushed in that cycle. What made this confrontation so painful wasn't just Daniel's declaration, but the fact that he was forced to mature in his relationship with his own mother. In a family accustomed to chaos, Daniel had repeatedly chosen to endure, tried to understand Phyllis's past traumas, and convinced himself that behind those wrong actions was still a mother wanting to protect her child in her own twisted way. But as time went on, that endurance became like an unending emotional debt. Each time he forgave her, the price he paid was another loss of trust. Another time his family was drawn into her extreme emotions, and another time he had to clean up the mess caused by decisions he didn't even make. Therefore, when Daniel declared he would leave Phyllis, cutting off all personal and professional ties to protect himself and his family, it wasn't simply an act of anger. It was a verdict forged from years of brokenness, the result of him reflecting on everything and understanding that family ties could no longer be an excuse for someone to destroy the lives of others. He was no longer in the position of an emotionally reactive son, but in the position of a man who had to protect his last remaining boundary. In that moment, Daniel not only cut off Phyllis, he also cut off the old version of himself, the version that always hoped things would be different next time. The cruelty of this decision lies in the fact that Daniel is still hurting. If he were completely emotionless, things would have been much easier. But he is clearly still Phyllis's son, still carrying within him the memories of the time she was strong, fought, and made him proud in her own unique ways. Because he still remembers those things, having to stand tall and state the final boundary becomes a deep cut. His anger is therefore not loud but thick and heavy, with the depth of hurt. The weariness of someone who has tried too many ways to save a relationship, but ultimately realizes he can't save someone who refuses to stop. A very powerful point in your script is Victor's reassuring statement that he is doing things better for the Newman family. This statement is both powerful and dangerous, as it encapsulates Victor's entire tragedy. He always believed his purpose was to protect his family, but often chose the path that hurt them the most in the process of protecting them. Nikki understood this paradox, which is why she couldn't just listen and nod. To outsiders, Victor's words might sound like confidence. To Nikki, they could resonate as the harbinger of another storm. The Newman family's situation unfolds dramatically, with the closest relationships becoming the battleground for the most subtle power struggles. No guns, no ostentatious conspiracies needed. A simple confrontation in a cafe and an interrogation at home are enough to make the audience feel as if Genoa City is shaking. On one side is the son who chooses to sever ties to stop the chaos. On the other is the wife who tries to keep her family together by demanding the truth from the man she loves. And in the middle are two characters accustomed to manipulating the situation, Phyllis and Victor, now forced to confront an uncomfortable reality. Their loved ones no longer accept the believe first, question later approach. It's not just dramatic on the surface, but also touches upon very real feelings in family life, sometimes what hurts us most isn't an external enemy, but the moment we realize the person we love is still using old ways to protect, control, or hold on, well, we can't bear it any longer. Daniel in his anger and Nikki in her worrying both show a very sad maturation. They no longer argue to win. They are trying to hold on to what remains before things go too far. And perhaps that's why storylines like this are always haunting, because they make viewers not only follow the next event, but also wonder if any relationship can truly remain intact after the truth has been kept hidden for so long. On our TV Spoilers channel, I always seek content inspiration for each video by compiling short video clips to analyze and offer my personal opinions. This channel specializes in analyzing, theorizing, and discussing plot points in the Young and the Restless series from the perspective of a longtime fan. Through this, viewers can gain deeper, more objectives, and more interesting perspectives. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest news about the Young and the Restless series.